A 1990 New York Times article describes the cultural shock experienced by Saudi and American women when their paths crossed during the Gulf War. "Being here makes me glad to be an American," said a female Army major, while a Saudi woman expressed the same thankfulness for not being American. This exchange highlights how different cultures define opportunity in their own ways, much like my mother's experience when she came from Saudi Arabia to the US. My mom was 6 when my grandmother decided to go back to college to study law after having 3 kids. But it wasn't a hard decision for her to make. In Saudi Arabia, education is free, and she would receive a stipend enough to cover all costs, even a full-time nanny. Why wouldn't she go to college? When my mom was in high school, she would see her teachers bringing their newborns to the school's nursery after coming back from their paid maternity leave. And between classes, they would visit to breastfeed and care for their babies. To her, they weren't just teachers, but mothers first. And when she was in college, she would see some of her peers getting engaged, married, and some even had kids. Community and family support for mothers, childcare, and free education and stipends for all students made it easier for them to start their families whenever they were ready. This doesn't mean that life for women in Saudi Arabia is perfect, of course, because the truth is every country has its own challenges and strengths. But you can imagine my mom's shock coming from a culture where family and work were intertwined to the US, where balancing both often feels impossible. Even her Columbia University PhD advisor once told her, "You made your choice. You chose family, while your peers sacrificed having a family to focus on their careers." My mom got job offers from Google, research opportunities in cutting-edge AI, and the potential to develop innovations that could change lives. But in the end, she stepped away from all of these opportunities, not because she lacked ambition, but because she was pushed to choose between 2 things she loved, and she chose family. In Saudi Arabia, my mom didn't see special incentives to push women into opportunities like we see here, because those opportunities were already accessible to them. Here, so much effort is spent trying to bring women into education and the workforce, but the actual support systems to keep them there are weak or non-existent. So instead of asking women how to balance it all, let's start asking how we can build a world where they don't have to choose. A world where success doesn't come at the cost of family, and where opportunity isn't a privilege. Thank you.